treacherous time it would have been.
Of course, that time when he was in detention, you got to remember that I was a young woman. I was in my early 30s. I had 3 children, Fidel, Rosemary, and Junior. And I was a teacher at Kenya High School. And that was what life was. Now, as a young woman, the young family, young children, of course, my concentration was on my children, how they should come up and so forth. So when he suddenly went away into detention, life became very extremely difficult for me because I had to look after these 3 children. I had to keep my job and I had to survive. And of course, I had to live on my income, my income as a teacher. So we had to cut down on certain things that we could not afford.
Did the kids understand what was happening?
Well, Fidel did, because Fidel was about 9 years old. Rosemary was 5. Junior did not understand a thing because he was 3 years old. And somehow they didn't understand, but they thought constantly. I think Fidel used to tell them, let's try to be nice to mom.
Let's not give her a hard time.
But that is not all. The problem was not really coming from my children. The problems were coming from the system. Because I was always being watched and being followed. For example, in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I used to do is to prepare the children and then drive them to school. I would have the car towing me to school. Then after that, I go to my work, to school where I was working. In the evening, when I go back again for them, it will be the same. So these people were always parked at my gate, watching over me, and it became, in the end, we just thought it's a way of life. I can tell you one time, when we moved into a new house, and we had this person sitting right at the veranda of the house. And I asked him, what are you doing here? He said, he wasn't talking. I said, what are you doing at my door? There was no answer. Eventually, I asked him, who sent you here? Then he said, Mkubwa. I didn't know who Mkubwa was. Who is Mkubwa? There was no answer. So I was very annoyed, but we just slept, and this went on and on for months when we were in that house. Eventually we said, this is an extra watchman. We don't need to be annoyed. And in the evening when we are going to bed, we'd give him black coffee and say,
what?
Have a good night.
So you found a way to just cope?
Yeah, just find a way to cope with it. So we were there, so as long as we were in that house, he was always there at the veranda.
And was there any communication? Was there?
Yes, there was. Once in 6 months, they would allow the visit. He would be brought from wherever he was, which varied from place to place, and would meet with him. Most of the time we used to meet either at the traffic headquarters, then this, I think this now, or traffic headquarters, or at Wilson Airport, the police wing, that place, the police wing at Wilson Airport, or the traffic headquarters, which is now I think Nairobi provincial headquarters.
And she's been with you through the good, the bad. How would you describe Mama Ida?
I described her as a very strong person, a strong personality, strong character. Because a number of people, of course, would have surrendered. You know, there are quite a number of people who were with me in detention, whose marriage lives actually floundered when they came out of detention. They couldn't just cope with the stress. the pressures which are being mounted by the system. So you get people like IDAH who are really very strong. I'm not saying this because she's here. Okay.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. She's extraordinary.
I'm never given to the character of trying to hero worship or love, but I think that is a genuine description of our personality.
In your political decisions, do you ever have a conversation, say for example before deciding I'm going to go for the presidency again, do you have a conversation with her?
Yes, we do. We do. So she's my advisor.
Okay. She's your advisor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I can pick up her mind without her knowing why I'm asking.
So you'll ask it what, indirectly?
Sometimes. Yeah.
And when he comes to you, and
sometimes directly. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So when he comes to you and says, say for example 2013, we are doing this, do you go again? Or do you go, okay, let's do it? What usually would be your response?
Of course, I will not say yes or no, but we'll try to talk about it, to analyze it, to see the consequences, to look at everything, and then look at the best way we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd say you're active in his, behind the scenes in his political career?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. Yeah? Have you ever thought of vying, seeking elective office yourself?
Not really like that, because anything I want, I can do it through him. I can ask him. You know, you want to vie because you think you can represent the people better, or you can do a better work. But in our family, and even if you go to the bigger family, the party family, I have people that I talk to. For example, if I want something done, or if I've got an opinion, I will still talk to members of parliament and tell them, don't you think this thing should be done like this, like that? And I try to influence the opinion so that they can take it to parliament. They can talk on my behalf. They are my representative. And so is it.
If he ever retires, you're seeing the situation of the Clintons now. Would you then stand up and say, well, let me continue from
that one, the situation will dictate.
When you get there.
When we get there.
Okay. And for you and your brother, sir, he's your elder brother, Uhuru. You are the more prominent politician. How is your relationship with him then? How do you get to interact? Because you got to inherit from your father, Jaramogi. There are those who would assume it should have worked out in terms of the older one gets it. Talk to us about that.
You see, the thing is that Uhuru was basically the